And Whoopi Goldberg getting suspended by The View isn't karma, and I wouldn't want it if it was. People have to learn to disagree in this country and not hate for it. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech, not the lazy, cowardly response of canceling people. She's allowed to be wrong. It's 11 a.m.
Bill Maher stepped into the ring, and as always, it was anything but a fair fight. This time, Whoopi Goldberg found out the hard way. Maher didn't just disagree with her, he dismantled her arguments with laser-sharp precision, breaking them down point by point. She struggled to respond, and you could almost hear the collective gasp from viewers.
There is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
Whoopi Goldberg is no stranger to controversy on The View. Over the past couple of years, she has made headlines for her divisive opinions and questionable statements. From comments on gender and politics to heated showdowns with co-hosts and guests, many viewers often find themselves scratching their heads at her logic. Recently, she dove into a heated debate about cultural issues and political accountability.
And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Whoopi stood her ground as always, but this time it backfired. Her words felt out of touch, completely tone-deaf. And then came Bill Maher.
Because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
That's what makes Bill Maher different. He calls out nonsense wherever he sees it, regardless of political leanings. So when Whoopi's comments caught his attention, he wasted no time firing back. But this wasn't just an ordinary debate. This was Whoopi stepping into the lion's den without realizing she was facing the king of the jungle.
Whoopi Goldberg shouldn't have to conform to or apologize for her views on race, as much as I disagree with them. And she certainly shouldn't have to sit out like a child and think about what she did.
On Real Time with Bill Maher, went after her arguments with his signature biting analysis. His biggest point? The growing disconnect between progressive elites and the real concerns of everyday Americans. He exposed the way media figures like Whoopi focus more on scoring ideological points than engaging in real discussions. And then came the line that shook the entire debate. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are ridiculous. That one hit like a sledgehammer, and the audience erupted with cheers. But Maher wasn't finished. He completely tore apart Whoopi's claim that Black Americans should vote a certain way just because of historical ties to political figures. He laid it out in plain terms. Black Americans want better jobs, a stronger economy, and responsible policing. Simple, right? His argument struck a nerve because it highlighted how out of touch political commentators like Whoopi can be. They assume they know what people want, but often, they're completely disconnected from reality.
The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher didn't hold back, even bringing up an earlier moment from The View when co-host Sunny Hostin twisted his words. But the moment that stood out the most, when he called out Whoopi for relying on what he described as the woke playbook.
This is a big country with lots of people who don't think like you. We all only need to agree on free speech itself. That's my religious belief. That's the timeless principle I live by. I don't like what Whoopi said about race. She didn't like what I said about COVID. So what?
After Maher's takedown went viral, Whoopi Goldberg didn't stay quiet. On the next episode of The View, she tried to defend herself. Her biggest argument? That Bill Maher dismisses social justice concerns and is out of touch with progressive values. He's just doing what he always does, mocking the people trying to make things better, she argued. But here's the problem. Her response didn't land well. Instead of tackling Maher's actual points, she focused on attacking his tone rather than engaging with his arguments. And viewers noticed. One of the main criticisms? Whoopi relied too heavily on general platitudes about social responsibility without addressing Maher's remarks about political elitism and cultural disconnect. It felt like she was dodging the real issue.
It's just nothing.
Yeah.
And it's narrative over truth. You know,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's not like when I hear people talk on either side of it, I always think they're lying. They're just telling me half of it.
Yeah.
And I never trust them anywhere until I check out the other half.
Yeah.
When she tried to frame Maher's words as being anti-progress, it backfired. His criticism wasn't about progress. It was about performative activism and empty virtue signaling that ignores real solutions. By failing to acknowledge that nuance, Whoopi proved his point. Another major misstep? She attempted to dismiss Maher's argument by attacking his audience, saying, "He's just preaching to people who already agree with him." But that didn't hold up, especially considering Maher's history of calling out both conservatives and liberals. Viewers weren't buying it. If Whoopi thought she could outmaneuver Maher with broad statements and opinions, she underestimated him. Meanwhile, social media exploded. Supporters of Maher flooded the internet, praising him for voicing what many people had been thinking. One person wrote, "It's about time someone confronted Whoopi. She needed to be called out." Another added, "Whoopi does this to herself every time she speaks." Mainstream media wasted no time covering the feud. Conservative outlets celebrated Maher's comments, framing him as a voice of reason against what they view as left-wing hysteria. But even some left-leaning commentators admitted, Maher had a point. Even Joe Rogan chimed in, calling Maher one of the few voices willing to speak the truth.
Well, I had a different question, but it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
This entire debate wasn't just about Whoopi versus Maher. It was a bigger conversation about cancel culture, media hypocrisy, and intellectual honesty in public discourse. Maher has positioned himself as a vocal critic of the woke culture that suppresses free speech and prioritizes performative outrage over real progress. His critique of The View was scathing. He called out the show for its lack of real debate, saying the hosts spend too much time reinforcing each other's views instead of engaging in meaningful discussions. His message? Whoopi and her co-hosts need to challenge their own assumptions, just like they expect others to. This isn't Maher's first battle with The View. He's clashed with the panel in the past over everything from political correctness to how the media portrays controversial issues. One unforgettable moment, when he called them out for ignoring perspectives that didn't fit their agenda. His message then was the same as it is now. People should be allowed to disagree without being silenced. What made this showdown stand out was how clear Maher's points were. He didn't just criticize Whoopi, he sent a powerful message to viewers. Think for yourself, question everything. And don't let TV hosts tell you what to believe. Now, the real question is, whose side are you on? Do you think Bill Maher was right to call out Whoopi and The View? Or do you believe Whoopi had a valid argument even if it didn't land as strongly as she hoped? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video for more content like this. Blast off!